Hey everybody, this is RaikouRider, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy. In between episodes, I leveled up to level 13. This is important for the next chapter for several reasons. One, you start getting level 5 spell charges, and two, when you hit level 14, your fighter will gain enough hit percentage to get 3 attacks per round. Being able to deal this much extra damage is pretty critical in the second half of Chapter 3, where you can run into some pretty nasty enemies. One step from town. Really, game? Really? And this is the town of Melmond. Looks like it's been... doesn't look like it's in very good shape. Ah, the Sage Sarda. Remember that name for later. That's really useful. Huh. It's not an instant thing, but the Earth will revive if you light the Earth Orb, which we will do in this chapter. I don't think that NPC is ever important. Why do they have like 20 NPCs that say that useless line of text? Huh. Remember that for later, too. That's important to know. Does this have anything to do with the floater? We'll get to that later. Ah. Yeah, that's right. There is no clinic in this town, so if your characters get killed, you'll have to go all the way back across the sea to Elfland or Corneria. He eats rubies. Really, game? Really? You'll need to remember Dr. Oon for later as well. He is critical to the endgame. Aha, that's where the Earth Cave is. The Earth Cave is our next destination. And the vampire is stealing the power of the Earth there, so we need to go there. But first, let's check out the shops here. The armor shop has some silver bracelets that we'll want to get for our mage characters. I wouldn't buy steel armor for your fighter, even if you have the gold, because there are much better things to spend your gold on in the very near future, and the upgrade over the iron armor is just minimal for its cost, and you'll find better armor than the steel armor soon anyway. It is absolutely not worth the outrageous price. This weapon shop and the Elfland weapon shop were transposed in later translations of the game, so the weapon shop here is useless. All of the level 5 magic here is valuable if you have a white mage, but if you only have a red mage, the only spell that you can even use is Cure 3. It's still very important, restores between 64 and 128 HP. But if you have a white mage, definitely buy the life spell, because it is the only way to revive a character outside going to a clinic. It does not work during battle, so be wary of that. Harm 3 isn't really useful, because usually Harm 2 is enough to kill undead monsters, and Heal 2, if you have a white mage, is definitely worth it. And this is an example of one of the few good bugs in this game. Heal 2 actually functions as a Heal 3 spell when cast during battle. The black magic, on the other hand, isn't terribly useful. The only spell that we're interested in is Fire 3. Everything else is pretty much Red Wizard, Black Wizard only. Especially Warp. The problem is, once you have the class change, Warp isn't useful because you get a much more useful spell afterward. The Nintendo Player's Guide erroneously indicates that black mages can learn the Warp spell, and I wish they could, because that would actually make the Warp spell useful for a change! Well, I think that's about everything we can do here. No item shop is really stupid. I don't know why they wouldn't put an item shop in here. There's no reason in the story. They never said the item shop was destroyed. Well, I think it's time to head to the Earth Cave. Notice all the swamp tiles around here. That's pretty hard evidence of the Earth's rot. Over there is the Titan's Tunnel, but we don't need to go there yet. Wow, this is actually a pretty rare encounter for this point in the game. You're not supposed to be able to run into hyenas at a common rate until Chapter 4. I'd say they're about as tough as green ogres. I don't think they can hit you multiple times. They don't really have anything special to them, they're just vanilla attackers. I believe they have a little less attack power than ogres, but they have a little more HP. There are some dangerous enemies that you can run into in the field. For instance, you can run into fairly large groups of undead. Besides the undead enemies, none of the encounters are really that bad. It's just, there's a couple of annoying groups. Well, this is the Earth Cave, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a cabin, since I haven't used any spell charges yet, save my houses for later. So I'm going to take care of that and be right back. Alright, we're back at full health. One thing I would highly recommend before coming here is bringing at least 5 soft potions. The Earth Cave is huge, very expansive. There's 3 treasure rooms we want to go to, but the greatest place of note is there's a corridor to the left that loops around itself, and at the end of that corridor are 18 fixed encounter points, one right after another, with giants. That is a fantastic place to gain golden experience if you're not using the Power Peninsula. Now, one thing you'll need to be careful of in the treasure rooms around here is a lot of them are guarded. For instance, if I approach this chest from the right, I'm going to get attacked by a new and very powerful enemy, the Earth Elemental. This is easily the most threatening enemy in the Earth Cave aside from the boss. He has 288 HP, so even if you're using spells... And yeah, this guy hurts. It will take 2 rounds to destroy him, but you can kill him in 2 rounds with just your weapons, so don't bother using Fire 2 or Fire 3 if you have it. If you bought steel armor for your fighter, you might not have gold for Fire 3. Yeah, this guy hits really hard. He has an attack rating of 66, which you might not even get that much attack power at the end game. You're gonna run through your heal potions pretty fast here, because there are a lot of treasure chests guarded by Earth Elementals here. Now the next place we need to go is down the Southwest Passage. This is where both the other treasure rooms are. There's one to the left and one to the right. Let's go to the one for the right first. Now if I try to approach the chests from the north side, I'm going to get attacked, so I'm going to take care of this Earth Elemental. Those Earth Elementals can be brutal. They can actually wipe out your Black Mage in 1 hit if they get a critical. Even from full health. You can run into cobras from the Marsh Cave at a pretty high rate here. Especially on the first floor, they're over half your battles. That was another Earth Elemental guarding a chest with a heal potion in it. you can sidestep him by going to the north side of the room. Well, I believe that's all the treasure on the first floor, so let's move on to east exit. Alright. There are a handful of older enemies you can run into here as well, like asps, ogres, arachnids, werewolves, all kinds of old enemies. As a matter of fact, on this floor you can actually start running into wizards. I believe you can run into groups of up to 5. And here's a kind of new enemy. I showed them off before, but this is the first place you're supposed to be able to run into them. These are those trolls from the Power Peninsula. Fancy we'd be running into these guys so soon, huh? Now, they are still weak to fire, but you're better off just using your physical attacks, especially for smaller groups. If you run into large groups of cobras or large groups of green ogres, don't be afraid to run from battle, because this place is long. And the last leg of it is very dangerous. And here's another new enemy, Bull. They're about as strong as trolls. They're not weak to fire, though. Unlike Zombuls, which are weak to fire because, well, they're zombies. Nothing special about them, really. Now, this treasure room has an earth elemental guarding it, no way around it. Another little nitpick I have with the game is when you have a monster that's guarding a treasure room from the entrance, you'll have to fight that monster again on the way out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fight the earth elemental again, so I'll take care of him. Unfortunately, the other treasure room on this floor is on the opposite corner of the map. Now, that one chest on the right is guarded from the left side, but if you open it from the north side, you will be able to get past it without an encounter. And that chest at the cabin is not trapped. I just happened to get into an encounter on that tile. Okay, this is where the Earth Cave starts to get dangerous. This is the final floor that we can go to, the floor the vampire is on. There are a few treasure rooms, all of them have one chest, but there are all kinds of nasty enemies here. Like, you can start running into large groups of undead, all of which can paralyze your party, and you can start running into the dreaded cockatrices here. This is why I recommended you bring some soft potions, because if you get stoned and you don't have a soft potion, that character's as good as dead. Thankfully, very few of the treasure chests here are trapped. After that battle, Edgar finally reached level 14 and got his third attack. This will be very useful here. Come on, get out of my way, please. This floor is also where large groups of werewolves start to become more common. I believe you can run into up to 6. And having to rearrange your party every time they poison you gets really annoying. Okay, this is one of those large groups of undead I was talking about. There's also a new enemy called Spectre here. They're basically versions of Geists that are slightly more powerful. Even if this group was just all Geists, I would strongly recommend having both of your spellcasters use Fire 2 here. or Harm 2 if you have a white mage, because you need to get that spell off or these guys can basically stun lock your entire party. The Spectres thankfully can only hit once, but they do have 22 damage, so they can deal damage more quickly than the other undead, obviously. Phew! Glad I got that Fire 2 off in time. $3,400 gold. I will take it. Great! Great! Cockatrices! You'll want to use any multi-targeting spell. Any multi-targeting spell will do because they only have 50 HP, but just the threat of getting stoned is huge, especially with this many of them. They also have a special attack called Glance, which can turn you to stone, but they can also turn you to stone with their physical attacks. Also, Curing Stone does not work in battle, even if you have the soft spell. And that's a level 6 spell anyway, so you wouldn't have it at this point in the game. And I don't even think... Oh yeah, if you get into a battle with cockatrices and you go first, press the Baydori button. The Baydori button is very useful. That top room was a dead end, but this one isn't. We have to fight the Earth Elemental in this room. Okay, some gold. Almost there, thankfully. Now, hopefully I won't run into any more of these cockatrices. Okay, we made it to the vampire without incident. I'm gonna heal up and be right back. Alright, we're back and we're close enough to full. The vampire isn't even that hard anyway. Really? Yeah, just blast this guy with Fire 2 and Harm 2. He should go down in one round. He does have a high damage stat, 76, which I believe your characters can barely reach if you get him to max level, but he only has 156 HP, so just blast him with Fire 3 if you have it, and that should take him out almost guaranteed. Yay! We have the ruby! Now we can go through the Titan's Tunnel. And here are some new enemies, mummies. I would also recommend using Fire 2 on these guys because they hit very hard and they can put you to sleep with their physical attacks. Starting to run a little low on spell charges, though. And being undead, they are weak to fire. I believe you could have also run into these guys at the Northwest Castle. There is a fixed encounter point there next to one of the treasure chests. I thought they were all images, but some of them are mummies. Alright, what's back here? There's a giant stone plate. Something evil underneath it? We can't do anything about this yet, so what we have to do is head back out, and I'm going to do that on my own time.